Welcome, everybody, to another edition of I'll Hang Up and Listen. Woo! The Sabres have won 3 games in a row. The very first time, as we heard multiple times on the broadcast, this is the first time the Sabres have won 3 games in a row since their first 3 games of the season. Couldn't be happier with the performance tonight. I mean, granted, yes, they gave up the lead 3 times, but they were resilient. They showed desire. And what was the other word I use? Just resilient. They were resilient. They weren't willing to back down against a very tough Penguins team that got better at the trade deadline. Granted, we were playing against Casey DeSmith, their backup goaltender, but Buffalo showed resilience. They came out ready to play from puck drop and really took it to the Penguins. I'm pretty sure at the end of the game, they led the shot count and expected goals for. And honest to God, guys, like night and day difference pre-All-Star break, this team and what they are now. Rasmus Dahlin is playing like a top 5 defenseman in the league, and I won't be told any different. I mean, all those people who wanted him gone and traded 2 months ago, they can friggin' sit on a pine cone for all I care, because he is playing like an absolute elite defenseman right now. You watch it every single game. He takes over certain parts of the games and he sticks out, like a sore thumb, but in a good way. Dahlin has been an extreme difference maker on this team for at least 2 months now. And he's really starting to shine and getting the recognition he deserves, especially from this fan base. It's been a really pleasure to watch and just to see this team and how much they've made. I mean, a Sabres Twitter space was made today by the Charging Buffalo. A couple clicks for them. And instantly, like I think it was made today, and there was already over 1,000 people in there just tweeting and talking about the Sabres. That's what this team has done. They've made this team fun to talk about again. They've made them fun just to be a fan again. I find myself not falling asleep during games anymore. Even though I could not stand that TNT broadcast. I love Wayne Gretzky, don't get me wrong, but I had to sit there and watch them kiss the asses of the Toronto Maple Leafs for another 5 minutes during that first intermission. I was going to puke all over the place. That was a joke. Oh, here's your jerseys, by the way, your new retro reversible jersey. Nobody cares. This is a game between the Buffalo Sabres and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Why do I got to sit here and watch crap about the Toronto Maple Leafs while they're not stopping shots? Who cares? It really, really just grinded my gears a lot. And Tage Thompson, guys. Tage Thompson is, I say this every time. Like, I almost feel as like every time I do a post-game reaction video, it just seems I have something new and great to say about Tage Thompson. And this guy's shot is top 5 elite in the league. Like, his release is absolutely insane. And I tweeted out during the game after that first goal. I was like, I can literally listen in my head, RJ, top shelf for Mama Hides the cookies. It just easily, I can hear it in my head. And I just wish I wouldn't have to watch on this TNT broadcast. By the way, Biz, where were you today, bro? Where were you tonight? You talked all this shit about the Sabres for weeks and weeks and weeks. And where were you tonight? Here was your chance to say it in front of a national audience. Where were you, dude? I tweeted out, he should be forced to read mean tweets from Sabres on the next broadcast. Abso-freaking-lutely. Because where was he? Were you yellow? Like, all that shit you talked for the last 3 weeks, and where were you tonight? Sabres, Penguins. Could have talked all the shit you want, and you were nowhere to be found, Biz. Who cares? Real quick before we get into some of the more of the talking points, 2 goals tonight for Tage Thompson, a goal for Zemgus Girgensons. Good for him. He's been in on the lineup. He's been hurt. So it's good to see him get on the score sheet. Okposo with an assist. Matthias Samuelsson, I'll get to him in a second. He's, been so impressive since he's been brought up to be a staple in this lineup. With an assist tonight, Jeff Skinner with an assist, Alex Tuch with an assist, and he sealed the deal in the shootout. With that nice, he came in real slow, hesitated, and sealed it in the shootout for us. And Craig Anderson, 23 saves on 26 shots. real nice ceremony. I will give credit where credit is due. The Buffalo Sabres did a phenomenal job pregame. Couple clicks for them. With the gold-plated goalie stick. As a goalie, man, that is awesome. Like, it's so, I mean, granted, yeah, he played like a good chunk of his career with like teams like Ottawa, with a team like Ottawa. So, I mean, hopefully, maybe when Ottawa comes to town, I'm not sure next time we play them or if we play there, hopefully Ottawa finds a way to like honor Craig Anderson because he deserves it. That was a really nice gesture on Buffalo's part, Kevin Adams' part. That gold-plated stick to commemorate 300 wins. Couple clicks again for Craig. Me and Cully were talking about it. Honest to God, he's like one of my favorite goalies of the last 10 years. He's like a hybrid between butterfly and stand-up. You see him kind of like, I know Darren Pang mentioned it a couple times during the broadcast, but you still see him make those old school types of save where he's not in like a full like butterfly, almost still standing up, but he does the windmill glove save. Love Craig Anderson and the guy what that guy's been through off the ice too with his family, his wife Nicole having cancer during that one playoff run. It was kind of like a national news story in the hockey world, and like just how resilient him and his family have been through the years. Like no guy deserves that much more. I wish he could win a cup. I can't imagine he might play maybe one more year, but I just, it's such a shame that a guy like him, a good guy like him, hasn't won a cup. But guys, this team is just so resilient, right? You see Rasmus Dahlin and how he's emerged and just really become an elite defenseman, and not just with his play on the ice and the fancy stick work and the shooting, like, but just the physical play in and around the net. Like you saw that what he got into with Austin Matthews in the Heritage Classic. You saw more of it tonight in front of him around the net, man. He's got a little mean streak to him, and I friggin' love it, man. I absolutely love this mean streak we're seeing from Rasmus Dahlin. Like, that's what we want. Defensemen take a long time to develop. It is a known fact. Just like goaltenders take a long time to develop. It's not like a center or a winger where you can come in and just be, especially if you're a high pick, kind of be, make an impact right away. It takes a little while for defensemen. Victor Hedman didn't have his really first impactful year in the NHL. I think it was until year 5. And Rasmus Dahlin, I mean, he's had on a third head coach, since he's come to the league in 4 years. Third head coach. That's a lot of turnover. That's 3 different systems, 3 different coaching styles to learn and get used to. So it's not easy, man. It's not easy being asked to play this type of hockey and then asked to play this type of hockey. Play a defensive style, play an offensive style. You saw under Phil Housley, he was not on a leash with Phil. Granted, yeah, it hurts you a little bit defensively, but you saw how good he could be offensively under Phil Housley. And then you go from Phil Housley to a guy like Ralph Kruger, who really just cut his nuts off and just neutered him. It took all the great things out of his game that we loved so much about Rasmus Dahlin. So with that being said, I am not at all like worried about Rasmus Dahlin anymore. And if there's anything that you could take from how Dahlin has emerged to be one of the better defensemen in the league, and then more dynamic and one of more like fun to watch defensemen in the league, just one thing you want to take from that is know that Owen Power is really close to being here. They're getting ready for the national tournament, and when that's over, like, it's speculated that he is going to sign almost immediately with Buffalo, and he will play games for the Sabres this year. That was like per Elliot Friedman. And I have some friends over at Michigan too. I've had him on the podcast, Two Goalies One Mike, already, and through those friends, like, it's almost a guarantee he's going to sign. So, I'm not saying that breaking news, he's definitely going to sign, but I've been told that, like, it's almost inevitable that he will sign once his college season is over with, that he's ready to make the jump. And yeah, I cannot wait. And if there's, like, again, you have Rasmus Dahlin and how well he's been able to develop in just this one season, less than a season, if you think about under Don Granato, just imagine what he's going to do with Owen Power. I am through the roof excited with what's to come with those two. And other players too, like Dylan Cousins, man, just really like emerging to just be a really good just 200-foot hockey player, a physical force out there. We don't need him to be out there fighting and whatnot, but he's, he makes his presence known every single shift in some way, shape, or form. And that's what Sabres hockey is. That's what I grew up watching. That's the kind of hockey I grew up watching. Like guys like Dylan Cousins who made you afraid to go into a corner to go get a loose puck. That's what I love. That's what I loved about Sabres hockey growing up. We always didn't have the most elite players on the team, but you know what? You had players that teams were afraid to come and play against. It's a fact. Guys like Bobby Boopner, Brad May, Rob Ray, Barnaby, Dixon Ward, these guys that just made you afraid to come to Buffalo, Marie Midland Arena, First Niagara Bank, HSBC, whatever the hell they were, all the different names this arena has been over the years. But they made you afraid to play here. And that's the kind of feel I'm starting to get. Not afraid, but teams aren't, they're not just coming into Buffalo thinking it's going to be a cakewalk anymore. This is your third win in a row. 5 and 6. Like, don't call it a winning streak, but it's a winning streak. That's 3 in a row, man. Like this, we can be excited about this hockey team. It's finally okay to be excited about a Buffalo Sabres hockey team. And I am through the roof excited. I kept my end of the bargain after they won in the Heritage Classic. I bought my Alex Tuch Heritage Classic jersey. In the comments, I wrote, slap a C on that sweater because he's going to be the captain. Hopefully they do. We'll see. But that being said, guys, we got a line of comments here. Chris Durr, let's go Buffalo, 3 in a row, baby. Bring on Ovi and the Capitals. Absolutely, man. I am ready for possibly the best goal scorer to ever live. Not possibly. He is the best goal scorer to ever live. I'm ready for the Capitals. Bring them on. Rakeem Davis, they are getting better and better. Absolutely. Carson Gatesy. I can't believe we've been missing out on this for a decade. I know, right? And a great save by Anderson in OT, though. That shot from Crosby was going to go in. Absolutely, man. Anderson has just been an absolute gem, right? Like, it's hard to believe he's playing at this level at 40 years old, about to be 41, right? We keep talking about his age. He doesn't seem like he's 40, does he? And also Rakeem, I was hoping for a Thompson hat trick again. Who wasn't, man? He was on Hattie watch. Chris Dirk, Biz was drowning himself in Pick Whitney, TNT going for 30, and Tuch brings it home. Let's go, Buffalo. Absolutely, man. And then Paramount Pictures. I think the case with Dahlin is he is just a head case. Early in the year, his confidence was very low with the shorthanded goals given up, but he's starting to feel it again. I agree. I disagree, but it's, so much about the game of hockey is mental. Me being a goalie, man, like, it's just as much mental as it is physical. The same thing for a young defenseman like Dahlin. Like, if things aren't going your way, you start to. It's like that one. It's like that one quote from the movie The Replacements with Keanu Reeves when they're asking in the locker room, "What's your greatest fear?" and or what are your biggest fears? And he said quicksand. Because when you're in quicksand, like, no matter what, it's like you're sinking by yourself, and there's no way of getting out of it. It's the same way when you get into that hole as an athlete, especially as like a goalie or a defenseman. Like, it's hard to dig yourself out, but you have to dig yourself out. And Dahlin has done that. Dahlin has dug himself out, and he's playing out there with a ton of swagger. There was a couple questions too I saw. I just want to bring those up. There was a couple questions. Sorry, guys, for holding this up. Give me 1 second. Replies. There was another question from Twitter. What was the best addition by subtraction for the Sabres in the last 4 years from Sabres rumor mill? Moving Risto, moving Eichel, losing Soboka, or waiving Dell. Can only pick one. Or firing Ralph. I would say we'd all want to say firing Ralph, but I'm going to say moving Eichel because what the pieces we got back are directly affecting the roster right now. The addition of Peyton Krebs and Alex Tuch have made a world of difference in this lineup, especially Alex Tuch on and off the ice. The guy just speaks volumes and brings a positive culture to this locker room. And I've said this so many times. It's hard to find somebody who was on the Vegas Golden Knights that was traded from Vegas to Buffalo and had a smile that was jokerish ear to ear at his opening press conference, talking about always being a dream to play for this organization, wearing that jersey, growing up next to Tim Connolly. You saw the pictures of him wearing his red alternate Sabres jersey, playing pond hockey. Hard to find a guy like that that's going to bring that type of a positive vibe and a positive culture to your locker room, but he did it. and he is doing it. So yeah, I would say that Jack Eichel being traded because the return for him is paying dividends on this roster right now. And Peyton Krebs has been so much fun to watch, right? So much fun to watch. There was that tweet I saw earlier today. There was a poll done a bunch of CHL players about who was the toughest player that season because he did play in the CHL, I believe, this past year. Who was the toughest player they played against? And the player given the most answers was Peyton Krebs. They hated playing against him, and now that guy's a Buffalo Sabre. How exciting is that? And that's not to mention, again, this isn't even your team makeup. We can be disappointed. So people can be disappointed about the lack of activity at the trade deadline, and rightfully so. Like, I understand that. I was disappointed because for like another 15 games or how many games are left in the season, I've never really understood keeping guys like Eakin or Colin Miller around just because, of the positive culture. I mean, if losing them for like the remainder of the season is going to negatively affect your locker room that much, you got like a lot bigger problems than, Cody Eakin or Colin Miller you got a lot bigger problems than that. But with that being said, like, I can't stress it enough just how hard this team works and how resilient they are and the desire to win on the ice. Like, it just gives me such late 90s, mid 2000s vibes. It really, really does. And I think we're on to something special. You got Quinn and Paterka in the pipeline ready to come up. That's another reason why I was kind of disappointed to not see any movement at the deadline, was because you have those guys that want to come up and play, and I would have loved to see them get a few games in before making a run at a Calder Cup in the AHL, because I think doing that is very important for those guys to go and play playoff games and go win a championship in the AHL. I think that's extremely important for that group, but I would have loved to see them get a few more NHL games up. So that's why another reason why I was a little disappointed, because I just didn't see. I thought that getting these guys more NHL games would have been more important than just seeing Cody Eakin and Colin Miller for another month. Like, it just didn't make much sense to me. That's just my opinion, though. Other points, scoring for the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight was Sidney Crosby, goal and assist. We all saw that goal. Malkin kind of got lucky there from that with a goal and assist, and then Brian Russ with 2 assists. Jake Gensel with a goal tonight, and then Chris Letang, or not Jake Gensel, sorry, Gensel had an assist tonight, and then Letang with a goal. Chris Letang has had himself quite a impressive season, guys. He's got over 50 points. He's almost on a point a game per player. I'm looking up his numbers right now. They were talking about it. I heard it on a podcast today. He's got 53 points in 60 games. 61 games. How impressive is that for a guy who's been in the league? He's 34 right now. That's insanely impressive. I can't stress that one enough. But and then I wanted to look up Crosby's numbers too, just for the heck of it, because it is Sidney Crosby. Why not? I know this is a Sabres post game, but I mean, I'm just curious to see at his age and where he is in his career, where Sidney Crosby is sitting right now at points for this season. I think he said he had 25 goals on the season. I would say that was his 23rd goal tonight. 66 points in 53 games. This guy doesn't miss a step, does he? Like, I know a lot of people hate Sidney Crosby, for the whining and complaining early in his career, and maybe feeling slighted that year of the draft lottery because you wanted him to be a Buffalo Sabre so bad. I was one of them. But this guy, he just doesn't slow down, does he? And it's just kind of a shame that he dealt with so many injuries and the concussions in his career, because who knows what his point total will be at. Probably around 1,600 points, honestly, 1,600 or 1,700. He's just getting ready to get his 1,400th point, 11 shy of that right now. But I was just curious to see where those guys sat. Excuse me. Sat in the standings, at least for individual stats. Next game again is the Capitals. Let me take a quick look here to see when they play the Capitals. They play the Washington Capitals Friday, March 25th at 7 p.m. And their next game isn't until Monday. They play the Blackhawks. I don't know if anyone watched that during the one of the intermissions too. Will Arnett, when they were interviewing Patrick Kane before their game, which is being played right now. Yes, which one of you is the first to go? You or Taves? And he was kind of kidding, but it was like a real awkward question to ask him. Like, didn't really know how to answer that. Like, because that's probably like something that gets talked a lot about in Chicago, not just in Chicago, but in the NHL world. Like, what are you thinking, dude? Why are you asking that? And why do they bring that? He's like Mr. Toronto Maple Leaf. Like, why are we sitting here pumping Toronto's tires during the intermission report of a Sabres Penguins game? It made zero sense to me. It was like their clapback for us beating them in the Heritage Classic. Like, why? Like, but because they introduced these ugly as shit jerseys. I don't mind like the black with the blue. That's okay. But the reversible yellow is butt ass ugly. Like, so terrible. Like, Justin Bieber should just stick to cutting records, man, because no, thank you. Or making Timbits. So that being said, we have another comment here. I am loving this new energy the young guys are playing with. Absolutely. I said it earlier, man. Like, they know how much this means to the fans. And I'm telling you right now, the more and more they win and play that way, even if they lose while playing that way, that arena will start to fill up more. People will start coming to the games. And you guys better make sure that on RJ night, that arena is full to capacity and we're making the walls shake, because that team is going to need as much energy and motivation that we as fans can provide them to get a W on RJ night when they raise that banner up to the rafters. Because if there's any guy that deserves a win on a night like that, it's Rick Jeanneret. And by the way, guys, make sure you're following Trainwreck Sports. They're doing the Best of Buffalo bracket right now, and Rick Jeanneret is one of the options to vote on. And I don't care. I know Josh Allen's in there, but Josh Allen's going to be here forever. Like, he'll be in this bracket a bunch more. Make sure you guys get on there and vote and hammer Rick Jeanneret as much as you can, because if there's any guy that deserves to win that bracket more, it is Rick Jeanneret. So let's make sure that guy gets the W. Don't talk shit about Gobluth, bro. I have no idea. Steve, that's producer. I have no idea what you're talking about, dude. No clue. I'll plead ignorance there. Is there a chance that the team could push for a 500 record? Absolutely there is. I mean, with that win tonight, they move to – hold on. With that win tonight, let's see here. They move to – where's the Atlantic Division? I think they're either 23-33 or 24-33. I'm not sure if this has been updated yet, but if they're 24-30, they're absolutely, have a chance at, hitting a 500 record. Why not? They're beating and competing with some of the best teams in the league right now. I mean, why not? I mean, I said it in the pregame show with the Crossing Swords pregame show. Like, why not? Like, there's no reason they can't go 4-1 the next 5. Fuck it, go 5-0. Who gives a shit? I am excited, guys. This game was so much fun to watch from start to finish. They played so well in all 3 areas of the ice, the defensive, neutral, and offensive zone. They played great in front of both nets. They were finishing their checks. There were a couple times, I'm not going to mention their names, where I think there was an opportunity to finish a check, but I'm not going to nitpick because that would be nitpicking. But I mean, they were, for the most part, finishing their checks, playing physical, getting chances and really controlling the tempo of this game. And yet, again, they did give up 3 leads, but they were resilient. They didn't they maybe played on their heels for a total of maybe 8 to 10 minutes during this game. But for the most part, they really controlled the tempo and they took it to Pittsburgh. And again, a team that's, they went out and got Rickard Rakell to try and increase their firepower going into the playoffs. And you know what? They lost. These are important games. Teams like Pittsburgh can't afford to lose these games. And heading into playoffs, not just for standings, but just for momentum purposes. So losing a game like this to Buffalo, that hurts. That definitely hurts. It may not be a division game. They're in the Metro, but still, it's a loss that hurts them. With that being said, guys, it is almost 11:30 and I am cooked. I am absolutely gassed. I am so happy and grateful you guys came to hang out with me. If you like what you see, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit like, leave a comment. It really does help us a lot. And make sure you follow us at Two Goalies One Mike, at my own handle at Duane S39, at Trainwreck Sports. And remember, this is brought to you by Outlet Liquor, the place to buy a case over on Georgia Boulevard. Get over there. Tell them Two Goalies One Mike from Trainwreck Sports sent you. I'm not sure they'll give you a discount or anything like that, but they'll say, hey, whatever. But again, I'll hang up and listen. You guys have a great night, and let's go Sabres.